Hello guys and welcome to episode 40 of Plum's Crystal Lab series. So you're probably wondering, why the hell am I being crazy? Why am I flying down here and breaking blocks and going into here? Well, I've kind of had a bit of a nifty idea, guys. I kind of want to get into a little bit of Thaumcraft. And you're probably thinking, well, hey, isn't this meant to be like, Plum Labs and, labs and science and stuff? That is very true. It is definitely my primary goal for the series, is to do Plum Labs. And if I'm honest, I kind of feel like I want to do a little bit of experimentation with some magical mods. And if I'm honest, a lot of you guys are probably, I feel like I'm going to have mixed feedback about the introduction of sort of using magical mods. But if I'm honest, I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal in terms of using some magical mods to try and help us on our journeys. Since, okay, you're actually additions crystals. You're not the crystals I was actually looking for. So what I'm looking for is basically some different types of crystals. So like the air crystals. I think I've got air, we've got water. What I'm looking for really is some like entropy and some order crystals and some fire ones. Maybe there's some fire ones down here with a lava. That's what I'm hoping at least. Any fire crystals around here? Okay, there seems to be water and air. They seem to be the two most common ones by the looks of things. Oh, are you fire crystals? Yes, you are. Neat. Like, I think you need to collect at least one of each type of crystal before you can actually obtain your Thaumcraft. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to go looking for the crystals and I will be right back. Okay, guys, it looks like we found a vein of some entropy crystals. Just right outside of our quarry. Which I'm kind of happy about. There seems to be quite a lot of crystals around the actual quarry area. So I'm going to keep looking, guys, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so I did kind of realise that I've already had this strange dream. Like, I think it's really early on in the series I'd kind of forgotten about. So what I'm going to do is have a quick read, because I think this is basically our sort of guiding light on getting into Thaumcraft. So since I had the strange dream, the dream I took, the strange crystals I've been finding, ground them with a handful of redstone in a bowl using a piece of flint. The crystals had to be different types, but if I did it properly, then the result was a strange glowing dust. In the dream, I took the dust and sprinkled it on a bookcase, but the dream ended before I saw what happened. So I believe what it's on about is Salus Mundus. So to create Salus Mundus, take 3 of these crystals of different types and combine them with redstone dust and crafting them with flint, with a flint and a bowl. So if I get myself a bowl, I believe it's probably just referring to like a just a vanilla bowl, hopefully. So let's have a look what it says about Salus Mundus again. So take 3 of these crystals of different types. So if I get myself I see what these crystals have actually got. I've not got many Terra ones, so let's get. Do you just do in a crafting grid, maybe? That's what I'm hoping. Okay, it's not in a crafting grid? It's a little bit confusing, I think. Oh, combine them with redstone dust. By crafting them with flint and a bowl. So, flint and a bowl. If I look up flint, there is no like flint and bowl thing, so I believe if I just need redstone dust and the beast crystals, maybe this will work. Like I said, I've not really, you can tell I've not done Thaumcraft for a good while. I'm just used to right clicking on the Thaumcraft really. Is this, yeah, okay, so that's made of some Salus Mundus. So I'm going to need a bookcase. So if I right click on the bookcase, okay, so something's happening at least. Boom, there you go, Thaumcraft. So now we have your first steps. So this just basically gives you a bit of information on how to make stuff. So the arcane workbench is going to be our first thing on what we need to do. So the arcane workbench is basically your equivalent of a crafting bench in Thaumcraft. So I'm going to put my Strange Dreams book back. And if I'm honest, I think I might actually have this in my Thaumcraft room. I know you guys might protest a little bit about having like a Thaumcraft room directly next to the main entrance. But I don't know. I think it could be kind of cool. I may redecorate the room at some point to make it look a little bit more Thaumcrafty. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes. Like I said, I was tempted at one point to have like my own separate building, and I'm still kind of tempted. But I'm like, I feel like I built that room and I might as well use it for something at least. And I'm like, if I don't use it for that, like, what would I be using it for otherwise? And if I had like another magical building, then it'd probably sort of take away from the whole Plum Labs feel. If I had like a specific magical building, so I might as well just sort of incorporate it into sort of scientific research, if you will. That's sort of my main plan. Go away, creeper. I kind of thought I was a bit screwed there. So how do I make this guy? So we've also got types of knowledge, blah 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 blah. This is just basic information and stuff. But what we are going to need first is the arcade workbench. So basically, it just sort of tells you how to make it. So I'm going to have a quick read through this, guys, and I'll be right back. So I believe what it talks about is Sailor's Mondays on a normal crafting table. So if I get my... It's one of those things I can't actually get this guy to automatically craft. I could probably get like an automated crafting thing set up for it, but I'd probably just have to use the same crystals over and over again. So if I get some more Sailor's Mondays, and I get myself a crafting bench, can I then work this guy? This is, I believe it's, I believe what the Thaumcraft talked about is combining, so it says, I need a channel that's quite delicate. So a sprinkling of Sailor's Mondays on a mundane crafting table should solve that. So if it's not on a crafting bench, maybe it's... There we go, so you just produce it in the same way that you produce the Thaumcraft. There we go. So we now have the arcane workbench. So I think I'm going to put this guy in the corner for now. And if we look at the Thaumcraft, so we've now done, that is now officially complete. So if I click complete, there we go. So we now need to make the thermometer. So if I have a quick look, so the thermometer recipe is inside of the arcane workbench. We need gold and a glass pane, and by the looks of it, all the different types of V's crystals. So we have obviously the space for the V's crystals, and if I'm honest, what I might do is just get simply a stack of each. So I've got a stack of water, a stack of air, a stack of order, a stack of ordo, igneous, and do these guys, by the looks of it, I'm guessing they just sort of pop themselves in the slots. There we go, so you just slot them in. Now we obviously haven't got much terror, but all I need is the gold and a glass pane. And this is because I've not really played Thaumcraft since, I believe it's probably Thaumcraft 4 and we're on like Thaumcraft 6 now, so it's like definitely been a little bit of a, you know, I've not done you know, too much since, you know, in terms of regard of learning the new system. So this is definitely a lot different to the way I remember it, I'm not gonna lie. If I try and learn something from the bed, are you gonna let me? Okay, so I've learned something new from the bed, but I believe I could probably go in here and then complete the objective. So what else do I need to do? So it's time to craft a thermometer and use it to study the world around me. It should clearly mark. I placed a bookmark on the thermometer recipe on the right. So why are you not completing? We've done that. So what else do we need to? Knowledge that I must have used. So what do we need to do here? Let me have a quick read, guys, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so I just went outside and I just scanned a bit of farmland, and that appeared to have completed it for me. So if I complete this, we are now, by the looks of it, on step 3 of 3 of our first steps thing. So we can look at alchemy in a little bit if we want to, but if I'm honest, I kind of want to get into whatever the next bit of the first steps are. So have we done the first steps actually? That might be. Okay, so these are the aspects I believe we probably learned. So if I have a quick look what we've been doing, so it seems to bookmark some recipes for us that we've already done. Let's see, so we can now progress into types of knowledge, or we could go down the alchemy route. So we've not yet begun this research. So what we are probably need to do is make ourselves the cauldron. Now, I think what you used to do is just get a normal cauldron and right-click it with the wand. But I believe things have probably changed, like I said, since Thaumcraft 4. So first steps, like I said, by the looks of it, we have actually completed it. I thought there were maybe 3 steps, but so yeah, I think we've actually done this step, if I'm honest. Right, so I think what I'm going to start doing is probably start getting into a little bit of research. So what I'm going to get myself is a wooden table. So a wooden table is not too hopefully hard to come by. So this is the recipe for a couple of wooden tables, and I'm also going to need some scribing tools. And scribing tools are basically what you use to... So we need a glass vial. But it looks like we can make quite a few of those, so I'm not too worried. So scribing tools, here we go. So what I can do now is get myself a research table. And a research table is basically what you can use to, well, do research, I suppose. By the looks of it, you only need one. And I've always sort of been used to having the double, so... I guess that's just me being slightly used to Thaumcraft 4. So what I'm going to do is attempt to try and figure this guy out. So normally, like I said, I go into mods where I actually know what I'm doing. Like, you know, that's all what I basically do with this whole series. But if I'm honest, Thaumcraft is a mod, like I said, I'm not too familiar with. So I'm going to kind of sort of go along with you guys so you can kind of see my me going along with this. So so experimentation, you perform some random experiments to see if something can be discovered. Gain 15 to 30 progress in a completely random category. So I believe that this is just basically telling me sort of how theories work kind of thing. So it's... Yeah, I think you guys can tell basically that I'm not, you know, overly familiar with all this. So, I believe these are basically just theories that your guy comes up with and you can basically choose to pursue them. I'm not quite sure if that's how it works, but hopefully we should at least be able to complete it in our... Was it the types of knowledge? Yeah, here it is. So now he's basically just going to go on and talk about theories and stuff and sort of how you formulate them. But I think what I'm going to try and do is go sort of down the alchemy route first. So I could probably do with get myself a cauldron to actually start doing some alchemical stuff. So it says, I was trying to learn more about alchemy and how it fits into the magical world. I'm sure that alchemy with it is in my grasp. So all we need to do is figure out how we make the cauldron. Like I said, the way you did it before is you just basically had a simple cauldron and you right-clicked it with a wand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself a vanilla cauldron and see if I can get anywhere from that. So if I right-click, I feel like right-clicking it with Sailor's Mundus is going to do something. Yep, that's basically how we've done everything so far. So there we go. We now have a Thaumcraft cauldron, and lo and behold, its texture's gone. So what I'm going to do is, do I have any netherrack? Yes, we have some netherrack, and a flint and steel maybe. Yes, we do. Because hopefully I won't end up setting the house on fire. But what we are going to need to do is basically heat this guy up. So if I stick this guy down and probably get some... I'm just going to get a couple of buckets here. I think what I'm going to do is make an infinite water source inside my base. I know that's probably a crazy idea, but it's probably what we're going to need to do. So if I just directly, not directly next to it obviously, but if I... I know that probably looks a little bit weird, but I think that'll be fine for now. So if I stick a water bucket down, we can basically fill this guy with water. And we can then start doing a little bit of alchemy. So can I... Okay, so for some reason it's not actually giving me the thing for creating this guy. But what I'm going to try and do is try and throw something inside here. And what should happen is, there we go. So he's now basically filled this guy with essence. So can I get my little thermometer and... Okay, it appears that the thermometer, rather than actually observing the cauldron, it's actually just decided to put it inside, which isn't quite what I wanted. It's fine, we can just create another one. They are pretty cheap to get into. Okay guys, so I just thought I'd give you guys a bit of an update. So I've basically been going round and just sort of, you know, scanning things. I've done a little bit more research. Now, if I'm kind of, you know, learning how this stuff works. I mean, I'm not quite sure when it says combining them. I'm not quite sure how this whole thing works. But the plan is that I'm going to keep going. So the next bit is in discovering Oromancy. And it says I need to visit the highest depth of the world and the lowest peaks of the world. So I'm thinking the highest. Am I just able to fly up and basically be there? That's my question. I'm not sure whether I physically need to stand on like the highest peak, like a mountain or something, or whether I literally can just keep flying up and I'll make it. So the world is spread out before you. Your perception has been broadened. Okay. So it appears that flying straight up worked, and will jumping in my quarry get me there. Now, for some reason, only some of these cactuses are growing. I'm not quite sure why that is. Seems interesting, but let's stick these cactuses in here, since I know that green dye was definitely pretty useful last episode. Well, not last episode, the episode before that even. But I wonder if jumping in the quarry, will this help us out here? Okay, so we're on like the bedrock level. Why are you? Why level 3? Can we get lower than this? I believe this is like, you know, I don't think we can really do too much worse than this. So I'm more like Y level 3, and that appears to be about as low as I can get. Why are you not giving me that I've reached the lowest depths of the world yet? If I just sort of nerd pole straight down, am I eventually gonna hit something? Okay, maybe lava. Okay, so apparently hitting lava was a formative experience somehow. I'm not quite sure how that works, but that was kind of neat, didn't it? I mean, just looking at our building over here, outside of the, you know, just looking at it from the outside view. Now, I believe this ender lily is probably ready, actually. Although he only gave me an ender lily again, so I'm not quite sure. I can never tell when these ender lilies are actually ready to be harvested, and I always end up being impatient with them. Okay, so now that I've done that, I can now complete that bit of research. So now we need a caster's gauntlet and a Vis resonator. So I believe I probably need to do this before I go ahead and do anything else. So for this guy, we need 100 V and a Vis receptor, nether quartz, and an iron plate. That's a bit weird, the fact that you need. Oh, so it's just compatible. Okay, that makes sense. So if I get myself an iron. But we have an iron plate from Thermal Foundation, and we have some nether quartz. We can make this V's resonator quite easily by bunging this guy in a crafting table. So there we go. We only have 140. I believe this replenishes over time by the looks of things. I'm not quite sure how it all works yet. Like I said, I'm learning Thaumcraft, guys. I'm basically learning as we go along here. So we need 2 V's resonators by the looks of things. I wish I'd noted that before. Why don't you tell me, guys? You should have told me. No, just kidding. So if I look up how to make that guy again, it is annoying that, like I said, this guy isn't NEI synced. So we need iron, leather, and another thermometer. I mean, leather's something we don't actually have any. Is there a way you can make leather? I know it might sound silly, but I'm sure there's a mod that actually allows you to craft leather from. So you can use rabbit hide. You can use a dryer and an alchemy table. In an industrial squeeze, you can turn rotten flesh into leather. I was sure there was a craft. Oh, atomic reconstructor that. Wow. Okay. So in fact, we can use an atomic reconstructor. I mean, it'll use a lot of power, I believe. Yeah, that did use a lot of power. That basically used all the power that was stored in the atomic reconstructor. But we've got some leather, and I'm pretty happy with that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what else do we need to make this guy? So to make this guy, wrong thing. We need that. We need the thermometer and the Vis resonator. Okay. So the thermometer, if I remember correctly, was the gold and the glass pane. I don't have to use I don't obviously have to make another thermometer because I accidentally threw one into the alchemy, the crucible. That's it. So now, can we make one of you guys? Okay, we can make a thermometer. We can also make another one of these guys. So it was V's resonator, thermometer, the 4 leather, and then the iron. To make the caster's gauntlet. Now I'm not sure what the caster's gauntlet does. I'm not sure whether it's something that you wear or okay. It doesn't appear to be an armor piece, which is kind of interesting, I suppose. So now we've done that. I believe So it requires alchemical metallurgy. So we can't actually get anywhere with that until we've got alchemical metallurgy. So now we've basically sort of done the outstanding amounts of the bits that were like glowing and telling us to do. We've basically done that. So I think we've kind of made a slow but interesting start. I think to Thaumcraft. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of research between episodes just to make sure I brush up on Thaumcraft and stop acting like a noob. So thank you for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed. Goodbye from Base and Plum.
Built an empire.